Hi guys, so I have Wooyoung's latest Korean mini album here to do an unboxing for and a short discussion. So I tend to do discussions more towards the end of videos if you're curious about some of my thoughts I had regarding the album, but because this album's so thick, as you see here, I'm probably just gonna ramble on while flipping through all the pages. So I guess be prepared for that. So I ended up ordering these two copies from two different sellers in hopes of getting different random things. Since there were 3 CD plates this time, 3 different postcard sized photo cards, and then 2 different lenticular photo cards. And so I was lucky with CD plates. I wasn't so lucky with photo cards, which I'll share at the end. Alright, so let's take a peek at what is inside. So this is really nice packaging actually. We're getting a bound book here. So you see the bound sewn binding. So this is basically the best packaging you could get in K-pop albums these days, in my opinion. And you just have numerous photos here, all taken inside of Wooyoung's home. And I think that's really special for him to do this, especially in his Korean comeback, because Wooyoung was known to be one of the most private members in 2PM. If you've caught their real 2PM episodes during the number 5 promotions, he wasn't really comfortable showing fans what the inside of his house looked like. He actually just did his whole section for their My House real 2PM videos, just filming the back of his headboard on his bed. So it's really kind of cool taking a peek inside of what William's house looks like here. And he also revealed the inside of his house and in the 2018 season's greetings, which was also cool. I think a lot of hottest especially are just really happy to see him more comfortable in his own skin, since a lot of us knew, and he also admitted that he was in a really big slump since 2013, and that I think is one of the reasons why he didn't release another Korean solo album since 23 Male Single. And just seeing him comfortable in his kind of day-to-day routine here in this photo shoot, it's just, I think, a treat to see. And him just being also so candid in his interviews that he's been giving lately has been really refreshing, as well as seeing him interact more on social media, especially on his Instagram lives. It's been really nice to see. When it comes to picture quality, even though we're getting a ton of images here, which is great, the images are a little bit more grainy than I would like personally. But I guess I can't complain with all these images, and they're really pretty too. So, as I said earlier, it's really nice just to see Wooyoung comfortable with himself, and I guess sharing himself a little more with his fans. And if you did catch this year's season's greetings, which I think someone's uploaded onto YouTube, he did mention that Chansung gave him that white stuffed cat in his bedroom, which he had a pretty funny story regarding that. So here we have all the lyrics, and I didn't really talk about the songs. I will go back after flipping through all these. Okay, so going back to songs, we start with I Like, which after hearing the highlight melody and before this album was released, this was a song that I was most concerned with, because it just sounded so different, I guess, from what you would expect Wooyoung to do. and I didn't really think it would be something I would particularly, I guess, like. But this song is actually nice and mellow, and I'm not really one who's very good at describing music, but I was surprised by how much I did enjoy this, especially after watching his V Live show he had prior to this release where he performed the song. These lyrics here especially, I think, got a lot of hottest, where he basically confesses his love for 2 p.m., which I thought was very touching. And then you have this title track called Duk, which means quit. This is also just a really nice, refreshing song from Wooyoung. I really like it I really like his more mellow and chill tracks personally, which he did on Matabokawa, his second Japanese mini album, which I loved from last year. And this also kind of has a little bit of a rocker, like soft rock edge too, which I appreciated. And his music video was really fun if you haven't watched it yet. And his story about how JYP called him up and told him how he loved the song, but for the chorus and I think a couple lines he wanted all the lyrics changed, even though he really complimented him with how great the song was. It was kind of funny hearing him tell that story on different news outlets, like on Radio Star. And then we have Don't Act, which was the song that he also performed on music shows along with the title track. And so this is more of a dance number, and I'm really glad that he actually had time to go on music shows, because all last year there were so many 2 p.m. releases that happened, but both Juno and Junkei didn't go on these music shows, so I think a lot of, especially international fans, weren't aware of these solo albums that came out, which was too bad, really. But Don't Act, I think, is my favorite song on this. It's just so much fun, and just seeing him perform it live on music shows, it's almost like you're at his concert, just with how much energy he brought to it. And his dance style is so unique, I think. He's kind of almost like a beanpole in a way with how he dances, so carefree. It's just something that I really admire about his dancing style. And Don't Act is just one of the more catchy songs on his album, so it's a lot of fun. And track 4, I'm forgetting what it's in track 4 here. I forget what the English translation is. I think it's like Hey or something. But this is another upbeat song that's a lot of fun, and I think totally Wooyoung too. It's kind of has more of a party atmosphere. It's not quite at Party Shots, which I'll get to later, but it's upbeat and very nice to listen to. Track 5 here is a little bit of the weirder song on this album, minus Party Shots, which was already kind of known as the weird song from Wooyoung's discography. So I think he said that he proposed this to go on 2 p.m.'s group album, Jungkook's Game, but I think Nukun and maybe some others said that maybe he should just give the song to JYP, since it's something that would suit him probably better. But Wooyoung, I guess, decided to keep it and just put it on this album, which I'm glad. It's a fun song, and again, it's just playing at how carefree and just fun-natured Wooyoung likes to be. And now we have the Korean remix of Japanese songs. So I'm definitely in the camp where I tend to enjoy the Korean remakes of the originally released Japanese soloist songs from 2 p.m. And that's mostly because they write the lyrics, I think, in Korean. So I guess lyric-wise, it works a bit. It's a bit more natural since they wrote these in Korean to begin with. Even though I think 2 p.m. out of most Korean artists who perform in Japan are the best at transitioning Korean and Japanese lyrics, I think, in their songs. But maybe that's just my biased opinion, but just kind of hearing it and just the nuances, I feel like they work a bit more successfully in that way. But Party Shots, at first I didn't really like this when it was released in Japan, but it is addicting after a while, and it's a fun song to just jam out to, I'll admit. And the Korean version I think is a bit more, it's not as in your face as the Japanese version, so maybe this also adds to how the lyrics just work a bit better, at least for me, in Korean than Japanese. But from what I could tell, I think the Korean music video that they uploaded had a good reaction, but I haven't been investigating too closely about how the international community took the song. And then the last track is Going Going, which again was on his Party Shots Japanese album, and this has really bad English in it, but it's kind of endearing, and that's how grammatically incorrect some of his English lyrics are. And it's just a fun, upbeat song, and I think it's a nice way to end this album and sort of speaks to just who Wooyoung is. So I am glad that he picked songs from these two songs from Party Shots, though as I've said in previous videos, Matabokuwa was my favorite solo album from last year, so it would have been nice to see a Korean version of one of those songs on here, but I think overall he did a pretty good job selecting his track list. So getting into CD plates, I pulled this one in this version, and then I pulled this version in my second copy, which I was happy about. I may end up buying a third copy with the last CD plate I'm missing, but I haven't decided yet if I want to do that. And when it comes to photo cards, the photo cards come in these envelopes, and I ended up pulling duplicates. So I got the black and white postcard one, and then this lenticular one. I'm not sure how well this will show up on camera. I got that one, and then I pulled the same ones in my second copy. So if someone would like to trade for one of these with another version I'm missing, preferably if you live in the US, especially for this postcard version here, do let me know. I would be very appreciative. All right, I guess to conclude, so I did most of my talking while flipping through the photo book, so I don't think I will elaborate much more in terms of discussion at the end here, but I'm just really happy to see Wooyoung again come out with something that he's proud of and has been way more active on the Korean variety scene since we've seen him on a few shows now. And if you haven't watched his Radio Star appearance with Jokwon, Jackson, and Sunggu, it's really hilarious. I highly recommend it. But I really hope that we get to see more of Wooyoung before he enlists, since he is due to enlist later this year, he said. And I'm wondering if, because he didn't include any Korean remakes of Matabokuwa, maybe he'll release another mini in Korea that will include some Matabokuwa B-sides on there. But if not, musically, it'd be nice to see him continue to do some more Korean broadcasts and variety, because that's something I think Wooyoung really excels at, just naturally. It's nice to see him back on that scene and comfortable doing those sort of shows once again. So this might be a little controversial, but regarding the translated article that circulated in the international community from one of Wooyoung's interviews relating his struggles to Jang, I think what really disheartened me was how quick the international community was to attack Wooyoung, because this matter was basically resolved pretty quickly in Korea. amongst K-Shals and K-Hottest from my understanding, since the reporter who just copied and pasted certain points of his interview to form their own narrative was pressured to change the original article, which that translated article didn't bother acknowledging, by the way. It's just very disheartening, I guess, to see how after the international community came together after Jang-yeon's passing, that they were just so quick to attack these idols for one reason or another without very much evidence, I guess is the word. Like, we saw that with Baekhyun at that fan signing, and then some other episodes where that happened recently. And now with Wooyoung, it was just, especially right after this release, I think pushed off a lot of people from actually listening to the album, which was a disservice entirely, in my opinion, since this album was wonderful. And when it comes to the actual interview that I guess many of us won't really know how things were pieced together originally in that original interview, but him relating his struggles and wanting to leave 2 p.m. to Jang-yeon's passing, sure, could have been phrased better. But I think the sensitivity when it comes to talking about Jang-yeon's passing in the context of idol struggles is sort of doing both a disservice to the idols as well as Jang-yeon, since he was a huge advocate for talking about mental illness and depression and other past struggles that he faced and many other idols face. And so just, I guess the only word I could really think of right now is disheartening. But I was very disheartened to see just how quick the international community was to attack Wooyoung, and for, frankly, a very misleading article. But I think it's very important for idols to be more candid as far as depression and other things, because we have seen the extreme lengths that these sort of struggles could end up like. And I know that, myself included, we don't want to see Jang-yeon as the poster child for the extremes, and him to just be regarded in that manner, which I don't think will happen because of how SM has gone about promoting his last release, and just how Jang-yeon is so well guarded in the K-pop community. But again, I think it's just very important to talk about these struggles that these idols are facing and just be more frank about how K-pop isn't always just the happy-go-lucky sort of images we see from music videos and other day-to-day variety shows, and it's not always so bright and happy. There are plenty of other sides that us as fans, especially in the international community, won't see, that I think should be probably brought more to light. I do appreciate Wooyoung being so open about his own personal struggles. So not to end this video on a sad note, I'm really proud of what Wooyoung accomplished with this mini album, and I'm really happy that he's embracing more of this side to him, and kind of showing the public that he could do more than just sexy lady, which has been something that I think a lot of people associated with Wooyoung since he released that 5.5 years ago. So it's nice to kind of show this mature side of him to the Korean public, since he's already shown this in Japan. And I'm really hoping, again, we just get to see more music from him, because I think Wooyoung has really transformed as an artist and just shown so much growth when it comes to thoughtful lyric writing and just song creation that is up there with both Jung-K and Juno's solo work, in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing and weren't too distracted by my rambling. And until my next video, bye guys.